Good afternoon, spa owners. It's Kirsten here from Kirsten Foss Coaching. And I first off want to say Happy International Women's Day to you. We've come a long way as women, as entrepreneurs, from the 50s, from the 40s, from the 30s, so in the kind of salon and spa industry, pre-spa industry. So I know that you are here because you are constantly looking for ways to improve yourself, to improve your personal self, to improve your business self. And so today I wanted to kind of do a bit of a blend of personal and business, kind of with the theme of International Women's Day. And that has to do with some of the words that we choose in our conversations, particularly with business, but this probably shows up in your personal life too, is that we have a tendency to use words that minimize our impact. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that I'm talking about words like saying things like I just, or I think, or what else have I got? Sorry, but, I believe, I feel, or unfortunately, starting with a conversation with that. And so a lot of times we're using those minimizer words because we aren't comfortable with the fact that needs to come after it. And so we're trying to buffer it to make it a little bit easier to take from the person that we're speaking to. Now, we work in an industry that's primarily women, and I think you can agree with me that when women work together, it can go one of two ways. It can be a really supportive, loving, compassionate place to work. Or, and I'm sure that you've experienced this, it can be really catty, bitchy, negative, women trying to undermine each other, tear each other down. And, in those situations, nobody wins. And even the person who is doing the negativity, bringing the negativity to the table, they're bringing themselves down. So one of the things in my business is, this started when I needed to really clean house with my team. And that's kind of when everything got started as far as creating systems, implementing systems. And it was when I came across the concept of company culture and started really understanding that I can create and design and support the kind of company culture that I wanted. Now, the company culture that I wanted was supportive, compassionate, in service to others, and all of the pieces that kind of fill in between those really positive aspects. I also put a line in the sand with my team once I got real clear about this, about what I would and would not be putting up with at the spa. And I said, I don't care how much of a clientele you have. I don't care how much revenues you're bringing. I don't care how about any of that. But if you can't work together with us in a compassionate, supporting way, there's the door. I really had to put my foot down and put a line in the sand, and to make that very clear. And yes, I had 2 people after a few months that left. There was other issues going on. That just happened to be one of them. But, that was a real defining moment for me as far as being super clear about who I want to be working with in my business and who I'm allowing to work with our clientele. So one of the things that happens when we come across people that we have to have these challenging conversations with is starting our conversations with these buffer words or these minimizer words. So, saying I think, or I feel, or I believe. You can totally cut out think, feel, or believe. You can just state your fact. So, as far as how do you change how you talk that way? I think first piece is you just have to be aware of it. So what I challenge you to do is over the next few days is just to see what your language actually is like. Do you tend to use those buffer words, those minimizer words, especially when there's a point that you want to make that could do without those buffer words, the minimizer words. So how we start with awareness, and then we just practice, and we practice on those situations that aren't high risk. So we practice in those situations where there's not a big conflict going on, but we are aware, like say we want to explain, say a staff member isn't quite doing the protocol right and you need to correct her. Rather than saying, I think you should, take out the think. I need you to do this. And see where that goes. You don't have to be like, I need you to do this. You can say it with a compassionate voice. It's really how, that's the other piece of how things come across is the tone, but it's the words that I really want to get, my point across today. That's one piece that starts minimizing your effectiveness in what you want to say. Now, this goes for clients as well as working with staff. There's always going to be situations that come up where maybe you have an unhappy customer and maybe they don't understand the policy or procedure, or you've had to say no to somebody. This is when we've been practicing with those low risk conversations and practicing using our stronger words, our stronger phrases, cutting out those minimizer words, that we can take the practice stuff and apply it to when we are in conflict. You also may notice this at home, in your personal relationships, especially the relationships that matter most to you is when you will have this tendency to want to use minimizer words. So that's another place that you can practice not using them. So I'm curious if you find yourself using these kinds of words. I think, I feel, I believe, sorry, but, unfortunately, but, and maybe you have some other words that you find yourself repeating that minimizes the rest of the sentence that you want to say. It's pretty empowering when you do this exercise, and when you reach a point where you realize all of your conversations, when you're in conflict particularly, you've gotten rid of the I thinks, I feels, I believes, and that you're actually speaking completely clearly, and you're putting a stake in the ground. You're not softening the blow. You don't need to soften the blow. You know, as far as celebrating International Women's Day and kind of all the history that we as women have gone through and the rights that we've needed to fight for, and needed to continue to fight for. You know, this is one of those places where we can be stronger in the kind of woman that we are, and stronger in communicating our values and what we need. So this is definitely not just a business topic. It's a business topic that comes from what we've been using in our personal conversations. And that comes from our lineage. It comes from how we were raised, what our moms said when they were trying to communicate, especially in conflict. So we pick up all this stuff as time goes on as little girls and we grow into women. And then sometimes it gets super frustrating why we're not being taken seriously. Another place that trips us up in the spa industry as far as using minimizer words is in our sales. When we are going ahead and recommending services or products for somebody, there is a tendency to use minimizer words to kind of soften the blow in case they're going to say no to that recommendation. Another place that I see it showing up in the spa industry is in our writing, whether it's an about page, whether it's our marketing message, whether it's our company culture message, whether it's social media posts. When we use words like I think, I feel, I believe, again, that just kind of takes away from the rest of the sentence. Put a stake in the sand. Say that you, this is it. This is what happens. This is what I recommend. This is what you need to be doing if you want these particular results. Try it out. See how it works when you are having those kinds of conversations and when you are writing. It's challenging. I find that it's actually easier to practice this with writing, because as you're writing or typing out, you can see right away that you use the words I think, I feel, or I just, or those kinds of words. So take a take a look at what you're saying, being aware of what you're saying, and also maybe reflect on some of the copywriting that you've done for your social media posts, for your website, for your newsletter. There's probably some soft words in there that you can just simply delete. When I help my clients with their copywriting, what I get them to do is they send me, kind of a rough draft, and I do see a lot of these minimizing words in there, and I just delete them out as part of my editing process. The whole sentence structure can almost stay the same with taking those things out. All right, that is my Facebook Live for today. I hope you do something for yourself today. I hope you have a little bit of time, even if it's just like 10 minutes. 10 minutes to yourself. Maybe you just have 10 minutes in between clients. Give yourself a little break. Go in a treatment room. Chill out. Put a headset on. Listen to a little bit of a podcast. Do a little meditation. Have a nap if you want. Set your alarm for a 5-minute little snooze. But do something today for yourself to honor all of the hard work that you have been doing in your business and all of the energy that you put out there to be in service to your clients and your community. Well done. All right, thanks for joining me. I will be back here next Thursday, Spa Business Break at 12 noon Pacific. Thanks for joining me.